National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
You're going to call anyone that loves you. You're going to ask them if you can use their card to buy concert tickets because your card's maxed out. Okay. If they say yes, you get the tickets.
I can't call my parents because they already think I make bad financial decisions. No. So I think I'll call one of my friends.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous. I feel tingly.
What's your not answer?
Giovanna?
Yes.
I was on SeatGeek earlier and I saw 2 tickets for Olivia Rodrigo at a really, really, really good price. So
Oh my god.
I maxed my credit card out by accident last week. Do you think I could use yours to buy the tickets?
Oh my god, yes.
Did I what?
Yeah, you got the tickets. You got the tickets.
I just want tickets. We're going to go to the concert together. Giovanna, I'll call you later. Love you. Thanks for picking up. Oh my god. I'm going to see Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes, thank you, SeatGeek.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, it's time to experience the O's on the Original Sports Podcast.
Hey, welcome everybody. How you doing today? It's on location at Il Forno episode. We haven't had one of these probably 6 weeks or so. We're actually sitting here. We're kind of digesting the rest of the Ohio State, Penn State game. We've got a special guest with us today. It's always a great day in the fall to have people here. And I think some of us are coming down off of that, let's just say the Halloween buzz. You know, you got that candy thing going on. You got some adult beverages you throw. You throw adult beverages in the mix. You got to. Yeah. I'm here with T-Sis, as I said, and our guest today, Eric Stevens. Eric, tell me a little bit about yourself. I don't want to give it away, man. Be nice and loud. These people need to know about you.
Right on. Yeah, appreciate you having me. Thanks so much. So, I'm Eric Stevens, one half of the ownership of I9 Sports here, a local youth sports franchise here in Frederick, Maryland. My wife, better half, is the other half of that franchise. So we have a youth sports franchise. We serve kids ages 3 to 13 in a wide variety of sports: soccer, t-ball, flag football, basketball, volleyball, tennis, just about everything you can think of. Rec level sports, really a great intro, kind of letting the kids fall in love with sports, find their passion for it, figure out what they love to do, and if they want to get more competitive, we kind of give them some good avenues to go and do that. And we have, rec level and intermediate level sports options for the kids.
So what have we been doing that?
So we started coming up on our 4th year now, 4th start, so it's been solid. We've been slowly spreading out through Frederick County. We actually have all of Frederick and Carroll County available to us. So we can slowly branch out, also out, and give the kids and the families a really good option here in the county.
So I live in Montgomery County. I've seen I9 Sports. Actually, son played flag football I9 Sports when he was like 6 years old. Is that something, a franchise you can buy into? Like, how's that work? How did you get involved in it and start your own business with this?
Yeah, great question. So it is a franchise, right? So you can come in and you can purchase the territory as a franchise. So I grew up in Montgomery County myself, in Germantown, and my oldest son is 21 now. Actually got his first sports experience with I9 Sports at 4 years old, right? So
You're 21.
Yeah, good. So we saw the signs on the side of the road. We got intrigued. He was only 4 at the time. I didn't think he could start playing football yet. We found out that he could at 4 years old. We got excited, like his parents do, and we found out that the kids finally old enough for sports. We threw him in. It was our first experience, his first experience, and it just was a great, really fun, organized concept, a great experience. We rode it out for the next 5 or 6 years, different variety of sports until he got old enough and I guess, at the point where he wanted to get super competitive or more competitive, start doing travel teams at AAU and middle school and high school sports. So at first we moved on, but stayed with I-9 as well, right? So we could have kind of the best of both worlds. We could get more competitive, get more practice time in, get more training in, but still kind of be the man on his local rec team as well. I thought it was a great transition. And it worked out really well. So fast forward, we moved up to Frederick, my wife and I, about 6 or 7 years ago. We started all over with the little ones. We have a 6 and 4-year-old now. And when our now 6-year-old was turning 3, we looked for an avenue for her to get into soccer or something like that. Looked initially for I-9 Sports because we had such good experience in Montgomery County and found that it didn't exist here and that there was an opportunity to bring it here. Got a little excited. We talked it over, see if we could do that and handle our current jobs as well. And we dove in head first and haven't looked back.
So this is side hustle.
It started out that way.
Part-time gig. I got a little side hustle. Here's the sports I-9 stand for.
Yeah, funny. So the creators of the franchise, when they were looking for a name, they started, they started looking at, well, what do we want to be about, right? And they started writing down words that epitomized what they wanted to stand for, like inclusivity and, different things of that nature. And they noticed a lot of the words start with the letter I, and then they went with I-9, what they found, the top 9 words, all kind of had the letter I in them, and that's what they rolled.
That's really a unique concept, the way they put that together. So let me ask you a question, Evan. You have a 21-year-old. What the hell did you go backwards on and start all over?
Man, I had so much fun the first time around.
Did you go? Did you
I
go?
love kids. I love kids. I love sports. Kids.
That's why we both teach.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
both teach. Like kids are kids. And the thing is, and I'm sure you find the same thing because you work with kids. He does the same thing. They don't change through the ages. The things they get to work with, like the phones and all that shit, technology, it changes.
Yep.
But the kids are still the kids. They still go through the same things that we went through as we were growing up. They're still kids, and they need that outlet. You're an awesome man for doing that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, different challenges for sure, but and like you said, the technology piece of it. I didn't have to worry about getting my kid off of an iPad. The 21-year-old, right? But my 6 and 4-year-old, I do, right? So, but as you mentioned, youth sports are youth sports, man. Getting the kids outside is such a big need. Giving them an option to be an outlet, do something outside of the home, do something away from school, do something that's healthy and positive. They get that teamwork atmosphere. They just learn so much about themselves and about the world through team sports, right? I mean, you can learn how to cope. My kids come home and they say, hey, I didn't like my teacher. I don't like my new teacher. It's like, well, that's your teacher. So get used to it. Like, you're going to have some that you love, you're going to have some that you hate. I'm not always going to be your coach. You're going to have some coaches that you're going to love and you're going to hate. Oh, yeah. Don't come to me and complain about them. Keep working hard on that field. Let your coach ask him to talk to him. Ask him what he can do to be better. Get more playing time. 100%. Or, contribute to the team. So I think it's a great avenue, great learning experience, and that's really what we want to provide is something that can really help grow a kid, right? Just mentally, physically, everything.
And to be honest with you, when you and I talked before, Eric and I have known each other for a couple of years now. When we talked before, when we first met, you said the commitment is minimal. It's about practice and then play the game, and then move on for the rest of the week. There's not this. You need to come to practice 3 times a week. We're playing 2 games a week. For some kids, that's okay. But for other kids who are just starting out and they need to figure out what they want to do, that's a good place to start.
Absolutely, yeah. So convenience on the parent side is what we aim for, right? So that's the word you hear the least when it comes to youth sports, right? It's convenience. You're never going to hear that. So parents complain. So we look at, what did we hate with youth sports, right? I hate that I'm traveling to Baltimore or DC to play a football team that lives right down the street from me, or to play a team who's less competitive than somebody who's right down the street from me. Why am I traveling so far, right? So the commute, the time commitment, cost. All these things play a factor, right? So how can we change that narrative, right? So we practice and play on the same day, making it a minimal commitment. It's 1 day a week. For young kids 3 to 6 years old, it's a 30-minute practice, 30-minute game. As they get a little bit older, it's 45 minutes, 45 minutes. All of your games and practices are at the same location that you choose, which is closest to your house. Right? So there's no commute other than that, 1 day a week. So that's about as convenient as we can make it for the parents.
That's awesome. Hey guys, we're here at Il Forno Pizzeria in Frederick. Mention OSP, get 20% off of the bill. What's the visibility of your location, I-9, in Frederick? How can people hook up, connect with you, find out more about it, get the exposure of sports they're interested in?
Yeah, good question. So you can go to i9sports.com, and if you type in your zip code, you'll find all the closest locations to you. Our biggest location is 10 minutes from here. It's at Ballinger Creek Middle School. There's about 6 acres of land behind Ballinger Creek, and we build that out. We have 3 soccer fields right next to each other, 2 football fields, a t-ball area, a cheer area, and we will have all those sports happening at the same place, same time, which is another convenience. If you're a parent of multiple children, you have 3 or 4 kids, and they all want to play a different sport, you can bring them all out, same day, same location, spend a few hours with us on Saturday, and you're done for the week. You don't have to worry about missing home-cooked meals or not getting homework done on time during the week. You just come out 1 day a week, all your kids get to play sports, you can watch them all at the same time from one location.
What's the favorite thing that your wife cooks that you make?
Dude, my wife is a great cook. I'm awful. So, she does no wrong, man. I hate to say she's an awesome cook. So I eat anything she puts on that plate in front of me.
What's your favorite? Like, there's got to be a favorite. Like, she makes me.
Man. I don't know. It's all sides. She can make a good steak. Man, she does it all pretty well, man. I can't complain.
You can't beat that. You're always going to have some good food on the table. And the kids, they probably love the food. They don't have to go, I don't like that. No, you eat what's right there.
You know kids, man. Chicken fingers, macaroni and cheese. They got about 3 things on their
hot dogs and grilled cheese. Yeah.
Well, be careful with that because I expose my kids at an early age to seafood, and once they realize they like it, they have a very expensive palate, and you want to get them McDonald's. Like, can we get some shrimp? Like, easy. So you heard that, i9sports.com. Type in the zip code. What's the zip code here? I don't know.
Ballinger Creek is 21703. It might be 21704 here.
We're 21701 over in the Moxie area. But yeah, punch it in, check it out. If you've got little kids, there is nothing better than getting yourself involved, at least giving them a taste so they can figure out what they want to do. But the real reason we wanted to have Eric out here, besides informing you about I-9, is this huge fundraiser he's been doing for the last 3 years. It's an amazing fundraiser that he pulls off here in the Frederick area, specifically the city of Frederick, and we're going to let him talk to you guys all about that. I'm not even going to dip into asking him questions because I know he has a whole lot he wants to share. And we'll check it out.
And we'll share and send out the flyer for this upcoming event as well on our webpage.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, really appreciate it. So it's the 3rd annual Harlem Wizards versus Team Frederick. So I'll tell you kind of how it came about first. So when we first started and purchased the franchise, we knew right away that we had to have an opportunity or an outlet to be able to help kids in need, kids whose parents couldn't afford, after school activities. There are some great organizations here in the county that already do that, but we wanted to be an even greater asset to the county here. So the first thing we did was start our nonprofit. It's I-9 Sports Association. It's i9sa.org online. And if you need help getting your kid into after-school activities, any healthy sport and activity, it could be with I-9 Sports or any other organization within the county that's a rec-level sports program. It's a reasonable, under $300 cost. We will help with the funding of that organization up to $150. So we wanted to be able to raise money for this nonprofit without having to go beg all the parents, because one of the things that we pride ourselves in with I9 Sports is that we don't do fundraisers, right? So we don't force the parents to go sell Joe Corby's pizza or the popcorn deals and all that stuff. You pay a flat rate to pay for sports, and that's it. We're not going to bother you anymore after that. So we invented our own concession. My mom actually runs the concession at our youth sports leagues.
So it's a family thing.
It's a family thing. My mom's been giving back her whole life.
Free labor.
Where I got it.
Bless your
Yeah,
mom.
there you go.
Bless your mom.
So we buy stuff from Sam's Club and just resell it at our concession at the youth sports leagues, and then we donate 100% of that money to our nonprofits so that we can put a couple of kids in after-school activities and sports throughout the county, and help their parents out. But aside from that, we wanted to make an even greater impact on that nonprofit. So we came up with this cool idea for this one annual event to hopefully bring in a few $1,000s and kind of ride us out through the year and pay for scholarships all year long. So the first year that we hosted it, a friend of mine plays for the Harlem Wizards, and he hooked us up, and we got in touch with them. We had them come out, and I think we found out that this event had the ability to be humongous, right? Almost bigger than we could benefit from just ourselves. So we wanted to spread that love throughout the county. So we included a couple of other nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Club and City Youth Matrix on our fundraising, and they get an equal share of the profits from this game. So we hosted the game, and we sold out the last 2 years completely. It was over 1,200 seats in the gym. We sold all the tickets before the game time. And then we had a ton of sponsors that helped us out on game day as well. And we raised over $30,000 each year so far. So it's been awesome. So the Harlem Wizards, if you've never heard of them, they're just like the Harlem Globetrotters. But in my opinion, it's an even better experience because there's no bad seat in the house. We're at FCC for this game, Frederick Community College. There's no bad seat in the house. You're never too far away from the action, and it's total crowd involvement. The Harlem Wizards will run up in that crowd. They'll have parents pull them on the court and have them dancing. They'll do skits, and it's a comedy show more than it really is a competitive basketball game. So that's why it's kind of for everybody, because my 4 and 6-year-old watching a regular high school basketball game, they'll lose interest in the second quarter and go, "Where's my iPad?"
I'm done with first quarter.
Yeah. So at a Harlem Wizards game, it's just constant action. So they're watching and they're looking and they want to see something fun and cool and funny happen. But on top of that, they're actually looking for their own principles.
Yes.
And the people that play against the Harlem Wizards, which is Team Frederick. So unlike the Globetrotters, we get to build the team that plays against the Wizards. So we call them Team Frederick. We go out and we get a dozen principals each year from the local Frederick County schools, mostly elementary schools, sometimes a few middle schools. And then we get the chief of police, Chief Lando's out there. We get the mayor, Michael O'Connor's out there. He's actually, Michael O'Connor's a baller, man. You saw him last year, man. Left hand, man, he's a solid ball player, man.
Does he play the point or
He might have been the MVP, man. He's a point, yeah, he's probably a guard for sure. He might have been the MVP last year.
T6 can play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a lockdown defense. I couldn't shoot. I always pass.
Funny story,
But
right?
Washington General, he always fouls out in the third quarter.
There you go.
Third quarter, I had 4 in the first one.
So that was Chief Lando last game, right? So funny story was the first year we played, Chief Lando had some business he had to attend to, so he showed up a little bit late for the game, and he didn't kind of get the script that the Wizards gave out pregame, which was, hey, if we go up for a dunk, get out of the way, right?
Yeah,
Don't. We're not doing any hard fouls here. We're not trying to injure anybody. It's a comedy show, So Chief Lando misses that information. He gets right in the game, and he's all over the Wizards, like defending like a madman. And everyone on the bench is just laughing hysterically, knowing that he has no idea what he's doing out there. And it was a good time. We told him somewhere at the end of the game.
Awesome, baby, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
are you saying the game is fixed?
Not at all.
Oh,
Not
okay.
at all. But
Washington Generals, I don't think, did they ever win a game against the
I
Globetrotters?
don't think they've ever got a win. No. It's a good time though. So total family fun event. We've got there's tons of stuff you can buy there. Basketballs and line up toys and shirts and all that cool stuff.
Former player.
You've got so they can buy stuff. They'll do autographs the whole game. So pregame, halftime, after the game, they'll sit and sign an autograph for every kid in the building. Pregame, if the kids buy a Harlem Wizards jersey, they can go right down on the floor and warm up with the Harlem Wizards.
Oh, that's awesome,
cool, man.
I did not know that.
Good experience, man.
So when and where? You said where? It's at FCC Frederick Community College. When is the date and time again?
Yeah, so November 9th, this Saturday.
Week
Game
from
starts
today.
at 6. Yep, week from today. Game starts at 6. Doors open at 5. I recommend getting there early. Most of the seats are first come, first served. So you get there early, you get a good seat. You know, you can watch warm-ups. You can let your kid get in on the warm-up if they buy a jersey. All kinds of good stuff.
Can they pre-order tickets?
Yep, yeah, so they can get tickets online at harlemwizards.com. Just go to the Frederick County game, Frederick, Maryland, November 9th. You'll find it on the calendar.
There's a great chance the OSP will be there.
What's that?
The OSP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're coming to the game.
Right on, sounds good.
Because it didn't sell out. We got to it before it sold out.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, if you're one of the first 10 people to email Original Sports Podcast at Gmail, number 10, we'll get some tickets from us.
Nice. Awesome.
We'll get some tickets from us. We want to hook you up. So be the number 10 email to Original Sports Podcast at gmail.com, and we'll hook you up with some tickets for the game. And I promise you, you will enjoy it.
Absolutely. You guys have the time of your life at this game. It is a good time, comedy show, great laughs.
I'm going to start emailing.
Hey, one more time for us, location, time, how they can get their tickets if they are not one of the top, or, not number 10.
Right on. Yeah, so November 9th, 6 p.m. game time, Frederick Community College. And you can grab tickets right now at harlemwizards.com.
Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Really do it, buddy.
Ion
It's good
Sports.
seeing you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Ion Sports, Eric Stevens. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, take care.
Appreciate you being here. See you next weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's good stuff, man. Make sure you check that out. It really is. It's really a great time. For him to be able to have it 3 years in a row, I mean, that just tells you a lot about what's going on with them. I9 Sports. What a great place to start with your kids. Like his played YMCA, but I9 wasn't around. I mean, think about what Eric said. He just came around about, 4 years or so ago.
Yeah.
So it's, So
Max played I-9 flag football, like I said, and it was flag football. And this was when I knew Max had that thing. And
what, psychotic?
yes,
Yeah.
it was called the Young in him.
Youngest.
His flag, and he went and just like laid out.
Is that called the Granddad Young?
Generation. It's generational talent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
Generational psychoticness, I guess. And he just laid this kid out, and we're like, and everyone's like, oh. And we're like, it's tackle. I mean, it's flag, buddy. What are you doing? He goes, I had to get him.
Hey, before we go on a little bit further, big shout out to Il Forno and Frederick Maryland on Route 40. JP is so awesome hosting us, takes care of us, puts us in a great spot. They have a little satellite location with Vanish, as you can see behind us. Let's vanish. Let's get vanished or whatever the heck it says.
Our big heads are coming, aren't they?
Yeah. But, JP does a great job, makes us feel welcome. And a big shout out to my wife and our friend Joe and Nina who came out to spend some time with us. We welcome you to come out on our live show. It actually is a lot of fun, and they're giving out 20% if you mention OSP today. So, if it's not too late, get out of here. And Hell to Pitt tonight, 8 o'clock. Will Penn State end up doing?
I think they lost 20-13 to the Ohio State University. Their offensive line was just too powerful for them.
It's time to move on from James Franklin.
I guess their defensive line too, because their running game was what they were priding themselves off of.
It's time to move on from
And
James Franklin.
they just could not do it. They had a pick six and 2 field goals. No. Yeah, pick six and 2 field goals. So their offense didn't show up.
I think Harmon's a bitch for James Franklin. Hey, let's move into our show a little bit, sis. Let's talk about Ovechkin. Let's talk about Al Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin is getting, he's heating up actually, and before you know it, he's going to reach that goal. I have all the confidence in the world he'll get there this year. For no other reason, it's a long season in the NHL, and I think he will make it this year. But let me ask you this: in the top 10 guys that play the NHL, where does he rank? Or doesn't he rank in the top 10?
Oh, I mean, just because he's one of those guys that I've seen, he's in my top 10. Like, you know, everyone says Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr, they're in the top 10. It's hard to compare.
It is. Different generations, different eras.
Different players, different teams, different style.
To be honest with you, those were a more physical time when they played hockey.
And what's amazing about that is that they didn't wear helmets back then.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
When you see Gordie Howe with a helmet, it was because he was like 50. Like,
Yeah.
that's when they like first started coming around.
Listen, I'm so fucking old that I saw Craig McTavish play his last game without a helmet.
Well, I remember Trottier for the Pens. He was like helmets were just coming on, and he didn't want to wear them.
Yeah.
There were guys
made
who
a big difference.
Thank you so much. There were guys who didn't want to wear the helmet. It was like, you know, seatbelts back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a seatbelt, but is he in my top 10? Yes, I would say definitely. I'm not going to go through all of them, but, you know, obviously Gretzky, who he's chasing, he's 36 goals behind Gretzky right now. He's 39 years old. Ovechkin's 39 years old.
And he looks it on the ice.
He's lost a step or two.
A step? Jesus, I think Vincent could outskate him.
And
shove him.
But he still got that shot from the circle. He just goes, sits there, casts the lane off. I'll rock it. And being a Pens fan, I'm not taking anything away from the guy. He's phenomenal. I think he'll get the record next year.
I
don't think he'll get it this year.
I appreciate everything that he's done, and I think he's a phenomenal goal scorer. But I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at a phenomenal goal scorer. He doesn't play on the penalty kill. He doesn't, you know, he's not. He has done better with setting plays up, but like he's a goal scorer to me. Is he in my top 10? Probably not. He's probably in my top 3 goal scorers, but in terms of top 10, I don't feel like he's there. And I know that's probably an unpopular opinion to a lot of my friends who either watch or watch later on the podcast, but he's not a 200-foot player. I'm down with 200-foot players, and that's my thing. I like to take running guys.
Okay, early in his career, when he first moved here, he was a headhunter. He would just lay people off.
He was solid.
He was an enforcer, and then he stepped back from that. And I think probably because he realized he wanted to have the longevity of his career to last, he needed to be change the style of his game.
No, let me
that
just,
can only go so far.
but let me say this. I do think he is a great hockey player. Yeah, just because I don't think he's in my personal, in no offense, he's not in my personal top 10, I do think he's a great hockey player. It takes a special talent to score all those goals. I don't care if you're sitting in the circle or not. You still got to put the damn thing in the net. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole other ballgame. So I want him to break this record. I know one of my buddies. I won't mention his name. Whose son is on the freeze. He struggles with it, but you know, I want to see Allen break the record. I think he is the quintessential guy, and I think he'll retire and he'll go play a few years in the KHL over in Russia because they want him to go there. You know, he will be a ticket to draw people in, and he wants to do that because he wants to get back to his country. And that, in and of itself, is like a huge thing to do too. You know, so
yeah, I think
too much.
records.
I want some page.
Records are meant to be broken, and he's going to break it. You might be in love with Wayne Gretzky, he's still work for the sport or whatever, but listen, 894 goals, almost 900 goals, is Gretzky's record. to break that, people, same thing with Lou Gehrig's streak. No one's ever going to break it. Records meant to be broken. I think Ovechkin's going to do it next year.
Yes. Well, I'll be excited. There'll be somebody who really bangs on the drum when he does that because I appreciate what he does. Hey, let's move on. The dust is settled now on the Braun Brawny. How excited when you see them play together? I mean, I don't get excited about NBA basketball anymore. I lost my interest when they started going to the Power 3 teams and then just signing other guys to fill in the spots. But it was kind of interesting. I don't think Ronnie is an NBA player, so he now has been sent down to the G League, the Gatorade League. But I mean, I thought it was kind of
G League stands for?
Yeah.
Gatorade?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it took my 15-year-old to teach me that.
G League stands for Gatorade.
G League.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea. How excited was I to see it? Great. I mean, not many people can say that they played with their father.
Ken Griffey Jr., last guy I can think of. Drew.
Griffey, the Elmars.
Yeah, no, they played each other. The Elmore brothers played together, not Dad. Dad's like 200 years old.
I guess Dad was a coach.
Yeah, he coached him.
Yeah.
You can say you do the podcast with your uncle.
Yeah, I mean, we got this special moment here. But I texted my dad this morning. Does that count? But
what he said.
Other than that one experience, Ronnie is not even a G League player.
No.
He's averaging, I think, 6 or 7 games, less than 1 point, less than a rebound, less than an assist. Like it's like 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, like 2.5 minutes a game. It's just, the writing's on the wall. Like everyone knows, you got this because of your dad. How can you tell me otherwise? There were so many more qualified players coming out of college in the draft that should have been ahead of him, but it's not it's not how good you are. Obviously, it's who you know.
It's the end of the day. I'm waiting for LeBron and all those guys like him that have been in this era of the NBA to move on. I'm not going to lie to you. I miss the era of the big man in the paint, the guy who can shoot from the outside, yet drive the lane. I miss the era of a physical game. I miss the era where a guy tried to play every game in the season, not take days off because he was a little worn down. I miss the era when they didn't pay these guys $175 million to play 3 years. I miss the era of NBA basketball when it was valid. I don't feel like the NBA basketball is valid today. I come around to being like more of a Boston fan, even though I wasn't for years because I've always been a Lakers fan, but I've come around more of being a Boston fan because of what happened when they went to the finals last year. I did some research on them. I found out, what...
I like their coach.
Yeah, I mean, I love their coach. I love their coach. I love his, where he is in his faith and how he lets that drive him. He's a young man and he gets it. But, I mean, even his players, if they're not on board with what he wants to do, physically, emotionally, he moves on from there.
And Tatum's tattoo. I mean, you gotta love it. I think I'm gonna get a tattoo of myself on my arm too. Selfie?
I don't have any more room. I'd have to go down my arm.
Yeah, did you see Tatum's tattoo?
I like that kid. I like Jason Tatum. I do like that kid.
What happened in the Olympics? He didn't play much.
So he had a fall off with the coach. It was a fall off. And it might be, we'll never know because he didn't really talk about it, but who knows what drove it to be a fall off. But, I like that kid. I ended up liking my team, and I hope that the NBA, once LeBron and that group of guys like, what's his name?
Harden?
Yeah, Harden,
Kevin Durant.
and Durant. I hope once they move on, the guys who can pick and choose and be babies about where they play. I hope once they move on that the NBA gets more structured and goes in a better direction, like they had for many years prior to those guys.
We talk a lot about these examples, and that's trickling down to college and high school. You're saying babies, but when it's a me game and not a we game, we're seeing that as high school teachers and coaches. We're seeing that at our level, and that's what's unfortunate because growing up and playing sports and admiring those that I watched on TV, I looked at players who were busting their ass, blue collar, diving head first, doing all those things. But what our youths are seeing today are people who want more money, people who are sitting out games because they got a hangout, people who just aren't happy. So, you know what? I'm going to leave. In high school, they're doing the same thing, and it's unfortunate because it's taken away from the culture and the pride that you have in your team in the sport. I agree with you when you say babies.
Be the difference maker. If you come from a place, if you're in a high school that is not doing really well, be the difference maker. Be the guy who steps up and leads the team. Hang your head on that. Not everybody gets to go and play college sports. Not everybody gets to. Barely anybody gets to go and play pro sports. But it's about discipline. It's about structure. It's about just camaraderie. I've said this before on shows that a lot of my good friends are still the guys I grew up with that I played sports with, because you can't replace the relationships you have as you fight together in unison to win. So, hey, I don't know if you heard, but MLB is changing finally, going back to you wearing your team uniform, but a league hat. Okay, so I love the fact that if you're a Yankee next year, you'll wear a Yankee uniform, but you'll wear whatever the league, the American League hat is.
Yeah.
And I always loved that about baseball when they did that. Although they didn't change the hat, I still am okay with that. That's a little bit of a moneymaker. But I think that took away from the individuality of these players representing their teams.
Yeah, it's more about them representing the league, because then I think what happened was they made it a league thing where if your team won the World Series that you were hosting, division,
You won the All-Star game.
the All-Star game, you hosted the World Series. Yeah. And that was what they were trying to bring to that. And that will still stand. But it is neat whenever the home team, they wear their dark colors. I remember seeing Bo Jackson in his Warriors uniform, and Griffey in his Panthers uniform.
Yeah, sure.
That is neat. Just to have the cap, that have your uniform represent your team, that's cool. It's different where you're on your team and you want to have a commonality. But
Hey,
this is unique.
Just a quick school update. Army is pretty good into Air Force right now, and Army's going to go to 9-0 after this game. What a season, Army! Another quick update. Garrett Cole from the Yankees has opted out of his contract, which was a healthy and sizable contract. He's opted out of his contract. Now, whether he re-signs with the Yankees or not, that's still yet to be heard. But I thought it was kind of interesting. Maybe New York isn't for Garrett Cole. Maybe Garrett Cole goes home to the team that drafted him. I doubt it. Yeah. But the Pittsburgh Pirates, as we always root for the Pirates, as shitty as they are.
Hey, what if he goes to the Dodgers?
Well, that would be awesome.
Because isn't he from the West Coast?
Hey, shout out to the Dodgers for all the players playing on the same page and winning the World Series, right? Shout out, because, I get it, but I find it very, and I've been saying this all week, I find it very alarming that teams spend $300 million to win the World Series, buy an all-star team, and sometimes they fall short, sometimes they get it done. To me, buying a World Series is, it's as bad as somebody, to me, using steroids to get it.
It's insane. when again, we talked about this on the show this week. How can you compete? You can't, because if you have an all-star team for your team, and you're paying $300 million, and you have another team in the same league paying $85 million, like the Pirates, they're not competing. And we just saw this week that the Pirates are picking up a guy from Hayes, who has a 185 batting average. Okay? You think the Dodgers are picking up a guy? Exactly, thumbs down. You think the Dodgers are picking up a guy with a 185? No, they're not. And so that's just a ridiculous point.
I don't even think that is newsworthy to tell your fan base that you're signing a guy who's been cut by a team who was in like the virtual last place team that was batting 185, and you're going to sign him. Like, that's an embarrassment in my books. And you will never see me throw my support. I didn't do it this year. I won't do it next year. I'll bitch about it, but I will not throw my support behind the Pirates until they actually realize that baseball does not have a salary cap, and
It's hard.
at the end of the day,
It is. It's hard to not, because we go to Pittsburgh every summer. We went to a game this year. My nephew graduated. It sucks because you know where the money's funneling to, but we have a great time. Tailgate, the venue is amazing. It's probably
we could go to Kennywood and do the same thing.
it's the best. It's the best baseball field in America, in my opinion.
It is. It's
The
amazing.
backdrop of the city, the bridges, the river. It's great, but it sucks to know where it's going.
He's nostalgic. What else you got for us, Young? Anything else? Let's get another question before we move on.
Hey, how about Bobby Costas?
It's pretty interesting.
42 years retiring from play-by-play baseball analyst. What do you think about that? How about that?
I think that's an amazing career, 42 years. I hope he's not ill. I hope he's not walking away because he's ill. Because oftentimes when guys last that long, the only thing that forces them to get out is when they're ill. We won't know that until after he gets out. But man, I always love Bob Costas. He has such a mellow way of delivering information. He has such an intriguing way of captivating his audience. Being around 42 years, though, man, I can tell you right now,
You ain't teaching for it.
no, I'm teaching 42 years. Yo, I'll be done in about 3+ years. And
Yes.
I'll still be doing this because I love this, but ain't no way I'm teaching for 42 years.
This gentleman, he obviously did baseball, the Olympics, NFL, NBA, boxing, golf, NASCAR. Okay, best known for baseball. He was able to diversify his resume and do all of those things. And like you said, when you close your eyes and you turn on, when you have the TV on, if you close your eyes, you know who's talking when you hear Costas' voice. There's some other guys that
There's certain guys that you can, like there's certain guys throughout the ages that you can hear because they put in a 30-year career. They stayed with the team that they were with, or they stayed with the network they were with. They didn't bounce around. Kudos to Bob Costas. I mean, I hope he has a great retirement. I hope he lives a long, full life. And, I always say this. I don't know if you'll ever see another guy come along like the guys we see. I just, as times change, I don't see people buying into and sticking with the same, let's call it brand.
Well, that's going back to the point of Gretzky's record. It's been, 30 years or something like that? We'll maybe see someone like Costas. But if you have the TV on, you don't know who's talking, you close your eyes, you recognize your voice. Who are some guys that come to mind?
Well, for me, to be quite honest with you guys, Bob Prince, when he did the Pirates, and I was a little kid, like at the end, at the tail end of his career, I can hear him. I can hear Myron Pope when he did Steelers. L. Michaels. Howard
Cosell.
Howard Cosell. Oh my God.
Brent Musburger.
I hated Howard Cosell. He was a diamond in his career, though. Like, he was so good at what he did.
John Madden.
Madden, Musburger, you know.
There are some of yours. You know, put them in the chat.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
That's amazing. Those guys kind of captivate that. And it's, I don't want to get into guys that we talk about when we're watching games that we mute.
Yeah.
But we want to keep this positive.
You don't want to talk about crit? Oh, never mind.
Are you keeping your eye on this guy from Boise State?
That kid's amazing.
Gentry.
Yeah, but you know what? He's not going to be a number 1 draft pick because running backs are a dime a dozen.
He might not be a number 1. If he'll go to a team, and I think, and I don't, he probably won't be a bell cow right away, but he's going to beat up some yards for somebody. Right now, he has over 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He's like 4th on the list for Heisman.
He's being compared to Barry Sanders, and I don't know if his running style, I've watched the video, if his running style makes me think, oh, Barry Sanders. But what he does with the ball and how he accumulates yardage and his passion for playing the game, I can see where they're trying to draw the comparison. You know, we haven't had a Barry Sanders in quite some time. Most teams run a 2 or 3 back option, and to me, that's amazing that they even do that. You know, I mean, yeah, there's no bell cows anymore.
No. Steelers, they're talking about 1-2 punch. Sorry, because that's what I was watching. Warren hasn't even been in there, and Harris has been carrying the ball of that one.
What saddens me is they said there's about a 10% chance that they're going to re-sign him. And I don't know how you can.
I don't know why.
I mean, I'm not giving him $8 million a year, but he wants $5 million. That's $6 million. That's petty cash.
Warren's more explosive. We're getting a little off topic, or we don't really have a huge topic, but Warren's more explosive. Hits the hole. He's a little bit quicker. Najee is going to have 1,200 yards this year projected. His best season so far, which, if you think about it, back in the day, 1,000 was like unheard of.
Oh, yeah,
1,000.
But there's 17 games.
That was 12 games. That was 6. Then it was 14. Then it's 16 games. They have 17 games now. If you can't get 1,200 yards,
65, 70 yards.
It's not that many. I kind of like it because they're conserving those guys. So you do need to have a second back. I think Gentry, he could step into that role as a backup, maybe become the number 1 after 3 years of college.
Yeah, easily. Hey, if you're watching us and you haven't kept up with football scores, Miami 53, Duke 31. Miami's the number 5 team in the nation. So this is setting up kind of interesting for Pitt and Clemson. If Pitt can beat SMU, and that Clemson game on the 16th, I believe it is going to be a huge game about who will go on to play Miami. Now, Miami's had some breaks along the way, but that's a good team. Cam Ward, if you haven't seen Cam Ward, the quarterback of the Miami play, I highly recommend you watching him play. If you think Lamar Jackson is a stud quarterback, this dude can actually throw the ball and run. So, there's that. But Sis, let's wrap this thing up for people. Tell them how they can reach you.
You can reach me on Instagram and X at 12young.
Catch the OSP on Roku Weekly. Tonight's show will be on at 6 o'clock, and then you can go ahead and watch it any other time. But we'll be on Tuesday nights every week from 7 to 8. Feel free to reach out to us through our email at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget, if you're the 10th email we receive, you get a couple of free tickets to the Harlem Wizards next Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Frederick Community College. Compliments of the OSP. Shout out to Steve Medley and Charlie Hodgson, who do our voice and music, respectively. Don't forget to check us out on all our esteemed social media places and watch all our back shows. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can watch us on all our social medias. join us on Tuesday night to experience the next Big Time Out on the Original Sports Podcast.